Today we have an interesting electric bike. This thing is a dual motor, dual battery, lightweight, carbon fiber, commuter style electric bike. Typically when you hear dual motor and dual battery, you don't think lightweight, but this one is. 1500 watts is the claimed peak power across the dual motors. And with the dual batteries and the lightweight, they say we can do 120 miles of range max. We'll see about that. It's called the Urtopia Carbon Fusion GT, and today we're going to review it. MSRP is $1 shy of $4,000 on the website, but it is on a significant sale in the link below this video. You'll have to click the link for the current price, but don't buy this thing just yet. We got to review it first. It comes with a 29 by 2 inch wide tire with knobby tread, and it has aluminum fenders. And of course it has the Urtopia branded geared hub motor up front running on 36 volts rated for 350 watts of continuous power. And this is just motor number 1 of 2 on this bike. We'll be rolling on name brand Tektro hydraulic brakes. This is a 160 millimeter rotor. And when you order online in the link below this video, here's what it looks like when it shows up to your door out of the box. Here's the color of this one, kind of like a yellow and orange. I dig it. There are other color options linked below. Regardless of which color option you go with, you get this deep step through frame, making it easy to get on and off this bike. And the main battery of this bike is right here. We'll pop that out in a few. The carbon fiber frame on this e-bike makes it lighter and stronger than a typical e-bike. However, there are a couple downsides, including, it is going to cost a little bit more. We'll talk about maybe some of the other potential downsides later. And as we can see, it is a hardtail e-bike. There is no suspension in the rear. That'll make your pedal strokes more efficient, but we do get suspension in the front. So the adjustable suspension in the front in unison with those 29-inch wheels is going to make your ride very smooth. And that is a solid amount of travel. If you want to get the most efficiency out of your battery, you can just lock this suspension out. It'll make your ride a little harsher, but there are clicks on the adjustment, so you can kind of dial your suspension into how firm or soft you want it. Looks like the cables will be managed well. And before we pop those handlebars on, let's take a look around back. Looks like we get a wide variety of gears, 8 speeds on the rear, and we'll be shifting with a Shimano Acera derailleur. And I just happened to notice something here that I don't even think I saw it in the advertising, but I gotta show you. This has something called a narrow wide chain ring, which will help keep the chain on there. And of course you get your second motor back here in the rear, rated for 350 watts of continuous power, 36 volts. Same thing we see on the front, Urtopia branded geared hub motor. And even with the battery on there, this bike is pretty light, which is not really typical of an e-bike. Just want to show you those brakes. They are name brand Tektro hydraulics. Rotor size is also 160 mil on the rear. You get all your assembly parts in here. Here's exactly what it looks like in here. This display is looking pretty cool. Little headlight on front. Let's get that battery off there. So of course you can charge the battery either on the bike or off. I'm gonna pop this off to make the whole thing lighter, and so we can check this thing out. Please charge battery for 1 minute before first use. Can I do 2 minutes? The main battery is a 36 volt, 14.7 amp hour battery pack. Multiplying those two numbers out comes out to 529 watt hours of energy on the main battery. So let's start weighing some stuff. This battery weighs in at 7 pounds. And then of course we have the range extender, the second battery. Here is what the second battery is looking like. Kind of just looks like a little water bottle, kinda. Got a little handle here on it and a button, some sort of key locking mechanism here, charge port. And this one is a little bit smaller, 36 volts as well, rated for 352 watt hours of energy from its capacity of 9.8 amp hours. Won't even pick it up actually. 4.9 pounds. So just over 4.5 pounds plus 7 pounds of battery. And we're gonna weigh the whole bike here in a minute, but first let me show you the charger. Pretty sleek looking appearance like the rest of the bike. Looks like we'll be charging at 4 amps, which is a pretty quick charge rate. And for those who care, this is the charge port connector. Here's a peek at the seat. Looks like it is relatively narrow and it'll have decent cushion. Now, as mentioned, there is no rear suspension. So if you wanna put a suspension seat post on, you want a 31.6 mil on the diameter. Ooh, memory foam. And as you can see, there is a little wire coming out of here that'll route up to connect into our advanced rear early indication system. It appears, unless I'm missing something, it will kind of limit how far the seat can go down. That's not gonna be a problem for me at 6'5" though. Pedals are Urtopia brand. They are plastic. It'll be a little easier on your shins if you hit them. So here's how we clamp the seat down. There's this little piece right here. You just kind of drop in there and you got to use a wrench to tighten it down. So I'm just gonna throw it on the maximum seat height and snug it down here. One thing that I really like is they give us some stem spacers so we can kind of choose how high the handlebars are. Not really exactly our normal stem spacer, but that is for the wire management here, or I guess that would be the view I should show you. All right, got that front wheel on and bolted down securely and front motor plugged in, and the handlebars on with 3 spacers. So before we throw on both batteries and the rear rack, let's see how much she weighs. Just coming off the holiday season, I'm weighing in at 292, not bad. And if I lift this entire bike up without the batteries, which really isn't too bad to do, this isn't too heavy of an e-bike, 243. So precisely 51 pounds for everything you see there, no batteries on it. That is not bad at all for a dual motor electric bike. And then add 7 pounds if you just roll with 1 battery. So this brings the weight up to 58 pounds. And then if we decide to add this Ebike rack, it's actually kind of a beefy rack, that weighs in at 2 pounds, 13 ounce. So that's about 61 pounds with the rear rack. And I'll show you how to throw this battery on in a few, which if you roll with that, so that comes in about 65 pounds for everything you see here. And I also want to show you something kind of cool on this kickstand. It is an easily adjustable kickstand. There's just like a little clip on the back here so you can adjust the length of it. I haven't seen this on any other kickstands. I like it. And we're gonna get that screen powered up in just a minute. But real quick, I just want to show you the physical size of this bike. I am still 5'17", 6'5", and an inseam of 34. This bike has a very low step-through frame, making it very easy to get on and off regardless of your height. I have the seat on maximum height. And here's what I'm looking like sitting on this electric bike. Here's what my pedal stroke looks like, and I have the handlebars with 3 spacers in there, so it feels like a pretty comfortable city commuting, upright riding position e-bike. Feeling that front suspension working. Official recommended rider height is 5'3" to 6'3" on the official website, so you could drop that seat post down if you're 5'3" to the minimum. And while we're here looking at the website, looks like we will have a unique app. You can sync music up apparently. Don't think I've seen speakers on any of these e-bikes for playing music, so check that app out later. Website also has ChatGPT listed as a built-in AI assistant. That ought to be interesting. What are we ChatGPTing and riding these days? And here's what it looks like with the rear rack on, which looks great when it's on because the bolts are hidden, looks very clean, but getting your fingers back here to actually tighten these bolts down is a little bit of a challenge. Fortunately, you only need to do it once. And here's what it looks like with the battery extender on there. Just plug that wire in, drop this guy right in there. So we'll get that screen powered up in a moment. First, let's look at the controls. We have a thumb throttle on the right and an 8-speed Shimano shifter, Tektro hydraulic brake levers, and rubber ergonomic grips. The controls here.
Please use our app to activate the bike.
Interesting controls. Looks like we get a little code right here to activate the bike, and there is a speaker on board. See, there's a headlight up front. Let's try that again.
Please use our app to activate the bike.
Okay, let's get the app. Here it is. Get super easy download process. Let's go ahead and give this a try.
Please use our app to activate the bike.
So get your little code, confirm, nice, activate, easy peasy.
Activate, succeed.
Nice.
Connected.
Oh, so you can do fingerprint. Interesting. Let's do it. So that is a fingerprint scanner apparently. Start registration. Probably use a thumb. I've done this before on bikes. This is the more natural way to do it. Giving away my data here, just like setting up an iPhone or something. Nice. Quite the tech on this e-bike. So any sort of flickering you see on this camera is just the refresh rate of the lens. To my eye, I see no flickering at all. Apparently, we get a weather readout here, including humidity, visibility, pressure, wind. And let's just try some of the buttons. So looks like we got a bell there. There's a little vibration, like, what do you call it? Haptic feedback. That's kind of cool. So pedal assist 1, 2. We get 3 levels of pedal assist. So it looks like we get our time in military format, which is actually accurate. So that just is taken from the app apparently. And it looks like this might be wattage and power or speed. I don't know. So definitely very different from the typical e-bike that we see on this channel. Wait. Was that a turn signal? Oh, double tap for turn signal. And looking back here, it actually does work. Is there one in the front? Nothing up front. So double tap for left signal. Yep. So I can hear the haptic feedback noise, and down here you can see it does indeed have a turn signal, which I guess is shining down at the road. Does it have a brake light if I grab the brake lever? Don't think so. And I wonder how you turn on that light. I'm gonna try holding up. Oh, it's like spaceship. Turbo mode, I just put it in turbo mode.
Pay attention to the behind.
What? Pay attention to the behind. Oh, we got flashing lights back there. Oh, there we go, headlights. So hold left. Oh, we got walk mode too. So holding the right, put it in walk mode. Holding the left did headlight. And holding up does turbo, which is already on turbo. So if I hold down.
Pay attention to the behind.
Pay attention to the behind. The behind. So when you put that on, you get the flashing light back here. And I want to show you what happens if you do the turbo mode. Rocket turbo. So inside the app here, we have all kind of stuff. Let's try the beep. Oh, it doesn't work when the bike is on. So let's power off the bike. All right, and now let's try the beep. Okay, so it'll beep. It's just kind of beeping over there. You can turn your light on remotely. Oh, you can change the vibration, the haptic feedback vibrations. And you can change different sounds for different things here. And there's navigation up here. Let's turn the power on. So far, seems like the app is working seamlessly and has some pretty cool features actually. Speed limit, so you can change it to maximum speed limit. 28, probably after we accept the conditions. 28 is the max now, but by throttle, it looks like 20 is still the max. We'll just put it back to 20 for now and then switch it on the road. And then I'm just going to turn the bike off by holding the middle button down, but it looks like it does like it's listening. This might be the ChatGPT thing. Hey, what's the weather? Are you listening to me, bike? We're gonna have to do some further investigation here. So how do you turn it off? This way? Oh yeah, nice, locked. It's locked and the alarm is on. Oh yeah. This is definitely some theft deterrence. Now, obviously it's a bike. You just pick up and walk off with it. And it doesn't lock the wheels or anything, but it is an alarm. All right, dudes, let's check out the Urtopia Carbon Fusion GT electric bike and test this thing out. So I enabled the fingerprint reader here so we can just power this thing. Oh, no, didn't read it quite. There we go. There we go. And we have the dual battery version here. They say we can do up to 120 miles of range. We'll track our official range on today's ride, see where we end up. And getting on this bike without the dual battery, which this is an extra option, you can actually get on this thing. Like this frame is very low step through. I will say this extra battery gets in the way just a little bit. And before we get out there and ride, let's go ahead and try this feature. So you can talk to the AI by pressing this middle button. Open game mode. So look, it opens the snake game. Nothing like playing games while riding your e-bike. There we go. I haven't played this game in a while. And you guys know how snake works. Don't crash into the wall. Game over. But this thing can do a lot more than just games. It is like an AI. Let's see if it knows anything about Tail Happy TV. Tell me about Tail Happy TV on YouTube. So at the time of this recording, I didn't know, but you actually have to subscribe to the ChatGPT feature in order for it to work. And that is an extra fee of $9.90 per month. And they also have navigation. So maybe we should try and navigate to the pier. It says it's gonna take 50 minutes and 7 miles to get there. Oh, cool. So
that make a slight right.
So let's throw this thing on pedal assist 1 and get this show on the road. So let's check out these headlights going on through here. One thing I noticed right away actually is the turn signals or whatever lights are down there. Check that out. Oh, looks like we get our power there too. So let's go ahead and see how this bike does on the 20% grade. We're gonna try it on single motor only first. This is a dual motor e-bike, but we'll just throw it on power level 3 single motor and do throttle. Now, this is probably not gonna get us up, so I'm probably gonna just pedal just a little bit here. Oh my gosh, this thing's coming down. So this bike, you know, is like relatively light. So even on single motor, you know, pedaling it a little bit, you can get up here. You gotta definitely put in a little bit of effort, but this is what the dual motor is for, so let's try dual motors. So to put it into dual motor mode, which is gonna actually burn through your battery a lot quicker probably, you hold the plus button for, I don't know, it turns on that rocket ship turbo mode. So that has the front motor engaged too, and we'll try throttle only. We'll just see if it can do it. Throttle only is 1500 watts peak. Let's see what kind of climbing power it has. So the 29-inch wheels are not ideal for putting down torque, but they do make for a smooth ride. I'm gonna put in just a little bit of effort on my own here, and I can feel what that dual motor is making a significantly easier to climb that hill. So you're gonna wanna think of this e-bike as more of a electric bicycle than an electric motorcycle. You're probably gonna, use this thing to use as basically like a power assisted cycling. And also, since it has a torque sensor, the harder you press on the pedals, the more power the bike is gonna give you. I wasn't pressing like super hard there. This bike definitely gives you a little bit of juice, but don't think it's gonna do it all on its own for super steep hills. And we are on dual motor right now with the throttle. I'm gonna go ahead and just put this thing back onto single motor, throw it on down to 0. So carbon fiber frame, relatively lightweight, nimble feeling electric bicycle. It's telling me to go left here. I'm not gonna go left. So if your battery dies on this thing, you'll be able to ride it no problem. Like this is easy for me to go, you know, just like 7, 8, 9 miles an hour. You know, it's heavier than a normal bicycle, obviously, but some of these e-bikes, they are really awful to pedal if the battery were dead. This one's not bad at all. Now it is a torque sensor. Let's try this thing on pedal assist 1, gear 1, just kind of getting rolling off to start here. And they say it's a 0 latency torque sensor. I'm feeling that right away. Like as soon as you start pedaling this thing, you can instantly feel it giving you power in proportion to how hard you're pressing in the pedals, which is what a torque sensor does. So first impressions on this torque sensor is it's doing its job properly. Feels like a good one. And this just is giving me instructions on here for GPS, where I'm going to the pier, as well as audio. I think it's coming from my phone actually. So if you're looking to get 120 miles of range out of the dual battery setup, you're probably gonna have to be cruising, you know, relatively slow, you know, 5 to 10 miles an hour, putting in decent amount of effort on your own, just kind of using that motor and battery just to kind of help you just a little bit. Let's get the wattage display up there actually. So, oh yeah, that shows you exactly how much wattage the bike's giving you. The display is bright. The dot matrix thing, I would say is probably a little bit more difficult to read than like a typical LCD display, but it is showing about 250 watts there. And I can see, you know, it's helping me in proportion to how hard I'm pressing, as the torque sensor should. Getting instruction updates, and I already know where I'm going, honestly. So I'm gonna cancel these instructions because they're a little bit intrusive for what I'm trying to do here in this review. So we're just gonna end that navigation for now. It shows, is that the weather? I think it's saying it's sunny, which is very accurate. 12:14, which is accurate. And we'll bump this thing onto pedal assist 2 now and see how this feels. So obviously just makes it a little bit easier, a little bit less work for you required. 13 miles an hour feels about natural for my pedaling. Let's try throttle, see what that does on pedal assist 2. So it looks like that'll bring us up a little bit quicker. 16. Going around a turn, these tires feel great. Tall 29-inch tires, they roll very smoothly. They run stuff over, so to speak, very nicely. So it really just kind of evens out a lot of the imperfections in the road. In combination with that front suspension and the carbon frame, carbon actually is a really good material for absorbing shock. So this frame's really gonna eat up a lot of vibration. Pedal assist 2 takes us up to right around 18, and that is giving us, oh, it says 0 watts. That's not true. So it looks like the wattage meter doesn't really show the wattage of the throttle, but if I start pedaling, I mean, is that telling me how much power I'm pedaling? That might actually be telling me my wattage, which seems reasonable actually. Like 100 to 200 watts is kind of what a normal human being would be outputting. Let's bump it on to pedal assist 3, see what happens here. Yeah, I think that might be giving me my power output, not the output of the motor. Could be wrong on that. It just so happens I think the power of this motor and what a human can do kind of lines up. So yeah, this bike's not like a crazy powerful bike, but it'll probably make for a nice commuter, I'd imagine. Let's try throttle on pedal assist 3. Yeah, it shows 0 watts, but it's definitely giving me power. So obviously you're probably not gonna be doing a ton of off-roading on a bike like this. It can do it, you know, it's got the knobby tread, there's just no rear suspension on it, so you're gonna kind of feel those bumps and stuff coming up through the rear. Big tires make it easy to roll over all this stuff though, and it does have the front suspension on there, so not bad, but you know, not really what this bike is meant to do, I would say. Especially sitting this upright riding position kind of just has you put a lot of your weight back on the seat, not a whole lot of weight on your arms. It's a comfortable upright riding position for the street, I would say. And now on pedal assist 3, let's see if we can get through here without getting run over. Pedal assist 3 will take us up to 20 miles an hour, where it cuts us off and starts giving us basically no assistance beyond 20. And let's try the throttle on Genesis 3. We're gonna have to squeeze through here. It'll take us up to, seems like right around 20 as well. Now I'm guessing one benefit of this dot matrix is we're gonna be able to see it through these polarized shades, no problem. Is it true? I don't know, I haven't checked it. Oh yeah, you can see that thing very visibly through the shades. So in order to go over 20 miles an hour, you need to get into the app and you wanna make sure this is legal in your area. We got a highway patrol officer right there. But just pop into the advanced settings and change the maximum speed limit. Accept the terms and conditions. Now we should be able to go over 28 miles an hour, or over 20 miles an hour up to 28, which will burn through that battery a lot quicker, but it'll definitely get us to the pier a lot quicker. So unlocking the top speed to 28 doesn't seem to be giving me any more power off the line. So let's go ahead and hold down that up button, put the boost mode on, and do a 0 to 20 acceleration run. I weigh 200 pounds, throttle only, ready, go. Oh yeah. That's 10, 12, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20. And even with the 28 miles an hour unlocked, it's not gonna give you speeds on throttle over 20. You gotta start pedaling it to get those speeds. And for a dual motor, dual battery e-bike, this thing feels incredibly nimble. Like, usually a dual motor e-bike just feels very cumbersome because of all the weight on the front wheel. The motors on this thing are reasonable, you know, like they have enough power. They're not like crazy big and heavy though. Like I can just bop around this turn. Hopefully we can make this white. Yeah, we got it. And with the dual motor, it gives you that like zip factor, the acceleration. Like it puts down the power through two wheels. And let's get up and get around. Oh yeah, this has a very natural feeling torque sensor on it, so it just feels like I'm Superman out here riding this thing. Carbon frame feels nice going over these bumps. I can tell it's gonna make us work for it to get that top speed of 28, so let's try that. All right, let's give this thing a top speed run. I have it on turbo, which has front motor, full power, and it's showing speedometer looks approximately, definitely correct. It'll take us up to 20 on throttle, and then I'm gonna tab over so we can see the wattage displayed here as I pedal. And I don't need to press the throttle anymore. We're gonna have to pass this dump truck, and we're going 23. It's a little dangerous right here. 27 now on my GPS, and it's showing, I feel like that's giving me the wattage of my legs. Like, this is a 1500 watt peak bike going 28 miles an hour, but that wattage meter thing is showing like 100 to 200 watts, and it takes way more than that to go 28 miles an hour. And it is registering, yeah, correct, 27, yeah. So it'll peak you out at about 28 miles an hour. Whew, it makes you work for it, man. The torque sensor on this bike feels really good. So on turbo mode, the torque sensor, like going at a slow speed, just like pedaling just like a little bit. Yeah, it feels like a pretty refined torque sensor. Like it's not giving me like big jolts of power when I'm just like barely pressing on the pedals on turbo mode at a slow cadence. So to touch on the carbon fiber downside that I mentioned earlier, you know, carbon fiber has a lot of good things. It's lightweight, it's strong, it has shock absorbing properties. But one of the downsides of carbon fiber is if you drop the bike or, you know, crash the bike and you crack the carbon fiber, then your frame is pretty compromised. You know, your frame could just be donezo. Say you wrap it around this pole right there or something. I mean, like, say for example, you hit it with a hammer, shock like that to a carbon fiber frame could crack it. And it's just a downside. It's a pro and a con to carbon fiber frames. Just trying to keep you educated as a consumer. Turbo mode, man, this is a breeze. We'll see where the battery ends up though. We are running, what, 900 watt hours between the two batteries? Now there are benefits to these 29-inch tall tires with knobby tread. I don't think this thing is gonna have any chance at all. Oh, actually better than I was expecting. These tires just are not wide enough to be riding over sand, but especially uphill. Maybe we should try it on the flat stuff over there in a little bit. I really thought this thing would have absolutely no chance to do that. So suspension, we do have that front suspension fork, which is great for eating up bumps. And like I mentioned, you know, the tall tires, which are better at, you know, kind of just smoothing out the imperfections and riding surface. But if you're going off-road, you probably want to stand up off the seat of this bike because there is no rear suspension, or get a suspension seat post, right? So I turned the navigation back on. It seems to be fairly useful. Just kind of gives you updates right here on the screen when needed, and when not needed, it shows you your speed. I'm finding that just cruising along on pedal assist 3 is like perfect. It's all I need. I can get like a light amount of exercise, just effortlessly cruising at 15 miles an hour. Just kind of sipping on that lithium ion, not burning through the dual batteries all that quick, but we always have that second motor on tap if we need a little extra juice. So when it says the pier, it means the pier. It's telling me to take a left up here and drive on out all the way to the actual pier. Yeah, it's indicating turn left at 999 feet. We're not going to go up the stairs to the pier, bro. We are going under. Let's see what it does though as we get in here. So you can probably see that screen a little better. Oh wow, it's actually telling me exactly where to go here. Like loop around up here past the pier, like literal step-by-step instructions on what to do. That is what we would do. We'd get on the north entrance there and go up there. And 0 feet, as it says. It's a very accurate GPS, but now it's saying, bro, you missed your turn. That's all right, we're going up here to the Cali incline. So I'm kind of wondering, can we play games while we're going? Let's try that ChatGPT AI assistant. Open games. Play games. Come on, stop playing games with me, bro. I want to play Snake. So from a practical point of view, practically speaking, I think this e-bike would be, you know, pretty suited for somebody who's, you know, looking for that dual motor experience, but not necessarily something like extremely crazy, because some of these dual motor e-bikes, they can be a pretty jarring ride. I feel like this one is pretty smooth, pretty linear on the power, pretty predictable, not overwhelming on the power, but like really all you need. Well, let's see, let's try it on the Cali incline. For those of you new here, the California incline is that ramp right there. It takes us up a 12% grade, 85 feet tall. So of course we'll throw it on boost mode for this challenge. Got the rocket ship taken off. Put this down into gear 1 in case we need to pedal. I kind of doubt we will, so we're just gonna get on the power here and use the belt here. And we're doing throttle only. It's pulling us up. Oh, hit the curb and tap the brake. It does have the brake cutoff sensors, but even it's pulling us 3 miles an hour, gaining 4 miles an hour. So even with that little blooper, little mess up of my own, we're able to climb this hill basically from the stop and coming up here on the left, on your left. Oh, you're good. Now the 29-inch wheels are going to take away from your climbing ability a little bit. Basically, the taller the wheel, the less torque, or actually technically the less force you get down to the ground, but kind of like you get less of a torquey feel with the taller wheel. It just feels smoother to ride. But going up the California incline here, starting out about 6 miles an hour. Let's just see if we can pull this thing all the way up, what speeds we can hit. Are we going to overheat, anything like that? 12 miles an hour, 13 miles an hour, running dual motors on boost mode. And it seems to be peaking out right around 13, 14 miles an hour, climbing the 12% grade. No pedaling whatsoever. Obviously, I could shift a couple gears, you know, if we really want to get cranking up here, go a little faster. Now, this is a 36 volt system, so, you know, it's not going to be, you know, the juiciest of electric bikes. This is more of a electric bicycle than an electric motorcycle. So we do have name brand Tektro hydraulic brakes on 160 millimeter rotors. Now, if this was like a fat tire, big, heavy bike, you know, I'd probably say 180 millimeters would be better, but I think that these brakes are probably going to be sufficient for a bike of this weight. Pretty much the smaller the rotor, the less leverage, the less mechanical leverage you get for pulling on that actual brake lever. Let's see if the brakes will work. Oh yeah. Yeah, these brakes are absolutely perfect, no complaints. Cruising along here at precisely 20. Oh yeah, these brakes are fantastic, man. I love the levers, linear feedback on the Tektro hydraulics, and sure, they would stop a little faster maybe if they were 180s, but These are perfect, man. So we're gonna head on home, see where the final range lands on this thing. I'll share my final thoughts along the way. So MSRP on this bike is $1 shy of $4 grand, on sale right now. Click the link below this video in the description box to see what the price is. Right now it's showing right around 2,600 bucks for me here on the website. I might have a discount code down there in the description box for you too, so click that link and use my discount code. Of course, if you did decide to buy this bike and you click on that link down there, it would help support my reviews here on this channel and also get you the best price. So final thoughts on this thing. I mean, you know, I don't think I've ever seen a dual motor electric bike that's rolling on 29-inch, basically like commuter width wheels. You know, this thing should be pretty efficient on the lithium ion since it's so lightweight, and the rolling resistance on these tires is really not too bad. It's actually a pretty darn unique electric bike, all carbon fiber with this display, the navigation built into it, all this unique tech. It's got the Snake game on there. I should be able to play some music through those speakers too, and then obviously, you know, just the dual motor, dual battery setup, man. And then the torque sensor. I mean, this thing just rides like an electric bicycle. It feels pretty nice, actually. So if that's what you're looking for, this could certainly be a good option for you. I guess it really all just depends on, you know, what you're looking for. What is your budget? I mean, if you go to like your local bike shop, you could easily find stuff way, way more expensive than this, and with far less features. Also, you know, I mean, you can find higher power, faster stuff than this, but it's not going to have all the tech. It's not going to have a carbon fiber frame. At the end of the day, it's just trade-offs. I'm just here making reviews, showing you guys pros and cons, what's good, what's not. And this has been a pretty fun ride. Let's head on home, check the final range. Bro, this Mercedes straight up ran the curb over. All right, bros, just rolling back into the neighborhood. I ran it on turbo mode all the way home. On the way to the pier for the first half of the ride, we did pretty much class 3, mode 3, not the turbo mode, because really that's all you need, honestly. And we're just coming up on 17.5 miles, typical route. We did that in 1 hour, 18 minutes, 1 hour, 19 minutes, basically. Average speed, 13.3. And let's see where the battery is. So we are running the dual battery setup here. And if we pull up the app, so it looks like it's telling us 69% battery remaining on the dual battery 36 volt system here. So they say 120 miles of maximum range on this bike. Now, you're gonna have to be pedaling and going pretty darn slow to actually get that. Really just gonna have to be not exploiting the batteries for fun and just kind of mostly pedaling if you wanna get that much range. But just, you know, the fact that this bike is relatively lightweight for an electric bike and has some efficient skinny tires, you're probably going to do a little better on your fuel efficiency compared to some of the, you know, the heavier bikes, the fatter tire bikes. And that in combination with, you know, since the bike is lighter, actually pedaling a bike that is this light actually makes a difference. Some of these heavier bikes, if you pedal them, it, you know, basically doesn't do much at all. It just looks like you're pedaling. So riding the way I ride, heavily using that throttle, you know, I'd say I do over 50 miles on this e-bike, which is definitely better than a lot of e-bikes out there. So that's my take on the Urtopia Fusion GT. If you do want to grab one of these bikes, buy it through that link in the description box. It would help support my reviews here at Tail Heavy TV and also give you the best price, and I greatly appreciate your support. However, if this is not the kind of electric bike you're looking for, you should probably watch this video right here, dude, because YouTube is recommending it and they know what you want to see.